You know that feeling when you remember something embarrassing that you did a long time ago and you are just as embarrassed about it now as the moment that it happened? Maybe a waiter said, "Enjoy your meal," and you said, "Thanks, you too." Ugh.
Embarrassing.
Or maybe a grocery clerk asked if you found everything you're looking for and you go, "Thanks, did you?"
Who does that?
Ooh, so cringy. Just a few months ago, I was at Disney World and I was picking up my lunch, corn dog nuggies, favorite, classic. And when I picked up my tray, the guy said, "Have a great day." And I said, "Thanks, love you." What I meant to say was, "Thanks, you too." Like how? Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing. Maybe you have a story like that when it comes to dating or relationships. Maybe things didn't work out with someone you liked, or you can't seem to get that potential person's attention, or maybe you've never been in a relationship at all, so you have no idea what that feels like. Wherever you're at in your dating journey, I still believe that the next couple of weeks are for all of us. Did you know that today, less and less people use the word dating to describe a romantic relationship? I've heard, "We're just hanging out," "I'm in a situationship," or "We're just talking," or maybe you're still trying to convince your best friend that you and someone else are just friends. Just so we're all on the same page, we're gonna use the term dating and define it as being in a relationship where the other person means more to you than just a really good friend. Some of you just might not be interested in dating, and that is okay. Don't date until you're married. I'm kidding. But some of us might not want to talk about dating because dating is so far from your priorities right now. You're thinking, why worry about something that isn't important? You have big goals and big dreams, and it feels like dating would just get in the way. Or maybe you look around your world right now and there isn't anyone that you're interested in. You're open to it, you want to date, but no one comes to mind. So you're thinking, why obsess over a lack of viable options, right? Or maybe you know exactly who you'd want to date, but they just aren't interested. And you're thinking, God, why have you forsaken me? Okay, I'm totally kidding about that last part. But regardless of how you would rate your interest in dating, from single forever to waiting on the one, chances are that a lot of us are going to date at some point in our lives. And if you're going to have a relationship one day, what we're talking about today can give you the best shot at having a great experience when you do. Guys, I just want to help set you up for success. I want you to date well. So let me be honest with you. The Bible doesn't exactly talk about dating the way that we think about it today. There's no book called Dating, and there's no chapter 1, verse 14 that gives crystal clear and direct instructions. But there are still some super important and helpful things that we can learn from Scripture when it comes to dating well. In Proverbs 24, we see a bit of wisdom from a guy named Solomon. When he wrote this, he was around 20 years old, and God had just given him an opportunity to ask for anything he wanted. Instead of asking for endless amounts of money or fame or time to play video games, he asked for wisdom. This made Solomon probably the wisest man on earth. And while he was the wisest, he wasn't always perfect. And sometimes he learned things the hard way, just like us. Proverbs 24:27 says, "Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house." I know you're probably asking, what does that have to do with dating? So just go with me for a second. Have you ever seen a big machine clear out a piece of land before something is built on it? This happens after the blueprints and architectural plans are created. After the land is cleared, a foundation is laid, all while the building supplies and materials and tools are being collected. But all of this happens before a house is built. And I think that is the wisdom in what Solomon is writing here. 1, prepare your land so you can build a strong and stable house. Then get to work building your strong and stable house. A big part of building a house happens before the walls ever go up. Preparation is the foundation on which success is built. And while that sounds good, we all have times when we struggle to do this. We know that we have a big test coming up, but we don't study till the night before. We know that we need a certain GPA to get into the college and the program that we want, but we don't start taking our grades seriously until the middle of junior year or senior year. We know that we have a big recital next week, but we don't rehearse until a few days before. Or we know that tryouts are coming, but playing PS5 or Xbox is a lot more fun than practicing. We all do it, and there's no shame in that game, but life doesn't always work out the way we want when we take the easy way. If we want things to turn out to their full potential, especially when it comes to dating, then we need to take the best steps we can in the right order. So, how in the world do fields and construction and building houses apply to dating?
How?
You have to prepare yourself so that you can build a strong and healthy relationship. Then you get to work on building a strong and healthy relationship. This can make all the difference in the world when it comes to dating. Relationships play a big role in shaping who we become. And whether things work out with that special someone or you eventually go your separate ways, the decisions you make while you date can and will shape your future. I like to think about it like this. Who you date is temporary, but who you become is lasting. We are laying the foundation of who we become today, our character, our faith, and our choices. And yes, God is always in the process of helping us grow and change. But if we want to have the best dating potential that we can, it starts with us taking a hard look at ourselves instead of just waiting on another person. We lay the foundation to becoming the kind of person we want to be, whether or not things work out with a person that we date. 1 Corinthians 13 says it like this: love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It doesn't demand its own way. It is not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Isn't that what we all want when we think about love? Most of us hear that list and think, okay, if I could just find someone like that, then things would go perfectly. And while that might be true, sometimes it's a lot easier to think about someone else instead of thinking about ourselves first. Ouch. But what does 1 Corinthians 13 mean for us? It means that before we start looking for those incredible qualities in someone else, maybe we should focus on becoming that kind of person right now. Learning to live that way and becoming the type of person Paul writes about here is helpful whether you are dating or not. It's like preparing a piece of ground before building a house. Being patient, kind, and humble will make everything better, stronger, and healthy. Our friendships, families, and our potential dating life. We tend to think that when we meet the right person, we'll just magically treat that person well. But the truth is, when it comes to loving someone well, it takes practice. We don't become patient and kind overnight, and we won't become patient or kind by accident. It takes effort. It takes preparation. Now, regardless of where you're at when it comes to dating, just know that it's never too early or too late to work on becoming the person you want to be. Even if you are in a relationship already and things have been tough, making a decision now to start moving in the direction Paul lays out is exactly the kind of wisdom Solomon was pointing to. And if you aren't dating yet or choose not to date at all, it might even be better. This is the perfect time for you to put in the work. And there are 2 practical steps to get us started. 1, choose who you want to work on becoming. A lot of us think as long as we're attracted to each other, we're good. But you can't clear a field and build a strong, stable house with only one hammer. It requires a lot of tools: a shovel, a saw, a drill, a level, a tape measure. 1 Corinthians 13 is like preparing your field and building your house. You have different important tools for building. Love is patient and kind. It's not jealous. It doesn't demand its way. While it might be amazing to meet someone who possesses all of those qualities, becoming someone who is building these qualities into themselves is even better. And even if the dating relationship doesn't work out, you will still have shaped and built a great house. The second is practice. This week, I want to challenge you to focus on just 2 qualities that we talked about in 1 Corinthians. Maybe it's being patient and kind. Maybe it's being humble and forgiving. Maybe it's being hopeful and gentle. I know 2 doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of these qualities can be really hard to live out. We can work on these all the time. dating or not, and you can practice them with everyone that you interact with. Now, if you do date someday, things won't always be easy. The person you date will get on your nerves or not seem so perfect. Being patient and kind might be difficult. But if you start building those qualities into your own life now, they'll come a lot easier when you actually need them. Practicing any of the qualities in 1 Corinthians 13 can have a huge impact on your relationships and ultimately your own life. So instead of spending time and energy finding someone faster, spend time building your foundation to be stronger. Because who you date may be temporary, but who you become is lasting. Radiant Youth, I loved spending tonight with you, and I know tonight is going to be your best Wednesday yet.